For this trip, we explored Van Riper State Park, and Van Riper State Park is located in Michigan, so this is the lower peninsula of Michigan. It looks like a mitten. Then the upper peninsula, if you turn your hand like this, sort of looks like this. So, you see the mitten down here? You get your upper peninsula over here, so the Mackinac Bridge, you obviously cross right here into St. Ignace. And you either take 2 across, or you can go up to 28. You can go a bunch of different ways to get west, but whatever way you might go, you're going to want to go toward Lake Michigamme, which is this nice lake right here. Now later on we will talk a little more about Michigamme when we have the pictures of it, when we went out on the boat. But Van Riper State Park is located down here on the southeast corner. They have a really pretty beach right here, which there'll be some pictures of. It's actually very, the water's very clean, it's very clear. It's just that there's going to be stirred up like sticks and, mud particles or whatever it might be. So the water, I mean, you wouldn't want to like drink it because it might taste a little funky, but it's very, very clean water. You can go swimming in it, no problems there. When you come in, it kind of happens kind of abruptly. You come down 41, you have to cross over top of, will it show it? You have to cross over top of a train track that runs through here. But you cross over the train track, you come in here, you hang a right, and you go you go to where the ranger station is right here, and you kind of do your registration, all that stuff. Then you can hang a left, and you can come in here. Now, this part right here is where, your campers would go. Then they have a rustic campground, they call it, which would be more like tents, and the toilets are literally like holes in the ground. It's like a two-holer. Many two-holers, but these actually have like real bathrooms, real showers. They're super duper nice, and I'm pretty sure I got pictures of that, but that's where that's located. So when you come in off this road, there's like a finger that runs through here where there's camp spots. There's actually 2 fingers. One's kind of like this, and the other one's kind of like that. Okay, then this is the day pass, or the day, not day pass, but the day area. There's a huge parking lot right here. There's bathrooms, restrooms, and then the pavilion that I showed you. But Van Riper State Park is a super nice place to go. You're kind of in the middle of nowhere, but you have all the amenities of home. Really, what's really cool about it is you don't have to go very far here. Right here, where 95 comes into 41. There is a nice gas station right here. This is the corner cafe, so there's like a motel here on the hill, and then there's like a nice little breakfast joint. I've only had breakfast there, and it was excellent. They have really good, if you want like biscuits and gravy or pancakes, like an American breakfast, eggs, toast, bacon, ham if you want, sausages, that kind of thing. They have really good breakfast there, but it's really convenient having the gas station right here, and they have rec fuel, if I'm not mistaken, ethanol-free rec fuel. And then if you go a little farther down, I'm sure it's not going to show on here, it's basically outside of Humboldt, is Jersey's, and we'll talk about that. Jersey's is fantastic. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of map look before we get into it. I'm trying to get better at making videos that are a little more interactive, just because I don't know how to do some things like people edit or take a video of their phone, like what they're doing or something. I don't really know how to do that yet. But I'm trying to make these a little bit more interactive. But yeah, so Lake Michigamme is quite large. When we went out on it, just so you can have a little bit of perspective, we launched at the boat ramp, which is, whoops, my cursor's not in the thing, about right here. And we kind of went out here, we went around here, we went around this island. This is the private island that had the float plane, and that dude's living the life, let me tell you. But we went around like this, and then we went around here, and we came back here, then we decided to come back around and go over here. And then we fished a little bit in here. I was hoping that the warm water coming out of the river right here, which is the Peshiki, boy, I'm sure I'm butchering that. It's just really pretty here. There's a nice railroad trestle that runs through here. I think that's supposed to be the railroad trestle right here. It's a really interesting, nice little river. There's lots to do here. I'm sure you can fish when things are a bit more of a prime season. I'm not a great fisherman, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Now, supposedly there's a trailhead here. I didn't really look. We're going to go back up there and focus more on trail riding. This trip was really more about just relaxing, seeing the sights. We did some just exploring off back in here, and a lot of this land in here is either state-owned or it's privately owned by like paper companies. It's commercial forest land, and Michigan has a commercial forest program where those companies get a tax credit, and that allows people, as in you and I, to use their land as if it was state land. Now, the thing about it is the one catch is you can't operate a commercial business off of it, so you can't make money off it, which might imply, I'm not really sure about commercial trapping. I really have to imagine you can't make money off of furs on their land, but it means you definitely can't be a guide, like a hunting guide, and make money off of their land. So if you're going to be a guide, you have to take people to state-owned property in order to do that. But we kind of explored up in this general area in here. There's just tons of old logging roads. It's a really fascinating. This is a very old part of the Upper Peninsula. This is original logging, original mining. There's over here is, where is that? Teal Lake. Teal Lake is just massive. It is absolutely beautiful. I do believe that there's a public boat launch over here on this side. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, nothing up here is not beautiful. So they actually have this called out too, the Yooper tourist trap. I have pictures of it because it's hilarious, and you should stop by there. I'm not a big fan of tourist traps because they're tourist traps, but this was absolutely hilarious, and there's a lot of things that were interesting. The other thing is too, they had really nice, it's a tourist trap. They have really nice like hoodies, coat. If you forgot something, you can find it there. So if you need to have coffee cups, if you need to have coolers, thermoses, I'm pretty sure they had some camping stuff in there. There's certainly knickknacks and videos and books. If you forgot to bring books, you can go there. They got books to buy. I bought a mining book while I was up there. Also too, so Champion, so a little bit of background here. Champion is a very old, very, very old town. It used to be called Tioga. And so Van Riper was named for the last name of Cully Gage Van Riper. Cully Gage is a writer, and he's a very educated. I think he was in speech, like language studies, that kind of thing. His dad was a doctor in town, so he knew all the people, and he was privy to a lot of stories. I read some of his books. They're called Northwoods Reader. You might want to look into that. They're very, very old books. I mean, this guy was, I'm trying to remember here. He was born in like 1910 or 12 or something like that. So these books are set in the early 1900s in this town, and he was an established, highly degreed individual, 50s and whatever, and he was getting older in the 60s, 70s, whatever. So those books are set in a much different time. When the town wasn't called Champion, and but he would talk about like Fish Lake. Him and his buddy would go fish at Fish Lake, and he'd talk about Lake Michigami and how they float logs down Lake Michigami out of the forest and get it to a rally point for the mill. And it is fascinating when you're here. If you go there, if you have any interest in history, I love history. That's why I'm making this video. If you have any interest in history, read some of those Northwoods Readers books. There's one really fascinating. So they're kind of set up like short stories, and usually they have a point. So they talk about, one of them was when a drunk and I'm trying to remember what the heck it was. A drunk and a guy who was really thrifty. He didn't want to spend money. Those two lived together, and it was just this thing about it. Just was crazy. And then he would talk about going fishing with his buddy, like I said. And another one that was really cool was talking about the different dialects and the different way that people from the UP speak, because the UP is kind of a melting pot of Scandinavians and of Europeans and of English people and of Canadians and of Indians. There's just a huge assortment of people who are looking for work who came to this area and worked in the mines and worked in logging, and there was also parts of it about the conditions of logging, how it worked, how the people stayed and lived in these buildings, and how long they were doing that for, when they got paid, when they come to town, and do what they did in town when they tore up the town after they got done doing their stints in the logging cabins. Just fascinating history. And then when you come here and you kind of live the history, you see the history. Now, one thing I really regret, I didn't get a chance to see. I'm pretty sure that this is his cabin, Cully Gage's cabin right here. We were so busy doing a bunch of other stuff, we never even went to go see it. And so I'm going to have to make another trip to go see it. But I'm pretty sure, if I'm not wrong, that was his cabin, and it's kind of been preserved. But we spent the weather One day was like raining, the next day would be beautiful, so we crank out a bunch of things on that day, and then it was just wild. So we did the best we could. We thought we had a great weather window, and we did. We had a good time. The bugs weren't too bad. The Upper Peninsula is kind of famous for a lot of bugs. But anyway, so this is a really fascinating place. I wanted to give you guys kind of some map before I start with this, to kind of see, and I'll try and do my best. I was trying to put this together, and it's been a couple weeks now. We had Father's Day come up. We went down with family for a week, and time just flies. It's just wild. When you guys who have kids probably know that. But anyway, it's just a wonderful location. This whole area here is just tons of state land. You can hunt, and deer hunting isn't too hot up here. There's just really long winters, nasty winters, and the wolves and the coyotes. Deer hunting isn't so hot, but they have moose here. You can come here and take photos of moose. We tried. It would have been really cool to get a moose picture, to share in this video. I wasn't able to do that. I tried, but if you're a sportsman, if you like to fish, there's tons of places to kayak. I want to kayak down this. What my buddy and I are talking about doing is putting in somewhere up here and canoeing. It'll be the two of us and probably our dogs. Canoe down here, canoe across here, spend the night pull the, beach the canoe, pull all the crap on land, pitch tent, camp on the side in state land. So there's a Moose Rapids campground here. I wonder if we could just stop in a Moose Rapids campground. Anyway, I want to kayak down. This would be the Michigamme River, I think it's called. I think it's called Michigamme River. Just a second. Google is being unpleasant. Come on. Whatever. Pretty sure it's called the Michigamme River. Anyway, it runs to Republic, which is a very small town. They have a huge mine that's actually the biggest, as far as I know, the only and biggest public access strip mine that you can go visit. So Republic is really cool. Put that in your list. We'll do that next trip. But I'd like to come and kayak down here and take it out in this reservoir or something like this. I think it'd be a really fun, or canoe. I keep saying kayak. Canoe. I'd really like to do that. It would be probably like 20 miles or something of canoeing. I think it'd be a really, really fun trip, really memorable trip. So, a little bit of background. This is now run 12 minutes, but you guys got a little bit of map. Now you can look at pictures, and now I don't have to say so much. You can at least have kind of an idea what's going on. What I was just wondering here is if I click on this, yeah, so you can kind of see there's a driveway here, a driveway here, a driveway here, and a driveway here. The showers separate the two halves if you want, and this runs through here and around and goes past the showers, and then the north loop goes here and loops around. Oopsie, sorry, I lost the cursor again, and then back down like this. So, and then your pump out, if you're an RVer, your pump out station's down here. They have a garbage dump right here, so you can dump your garbage. Your day pass area, like I said, is right here, and they have bathrooms right here. Then this beautiful pavilion up on the hill. I mean, I have pictures of it. It's just absolutely fantastic. If you want to plan a birthday party, or like if you want to camp, if you're lucky enough to have an active family that comes and camps with you, be really cool to go with several people who have campers, or several people families who like to tent, and be able to have like a community dinner here. They have a fireplace in it. It's right over here. I think I have a picture of it. So you could build a fire in there or cook on the fire if you wanted to, if you had something to cantilever, pots and pans over top of the fire. It's just public access. You do whatever you want to do. This thing is huge. You could probably put 40-50 people in there if you wanted to comfortably. And I don't think you have to run it. You just go use it. We played fetch with Layla right here. There's another, you can kind of see it right here. There's a slide right here. So there's a playground right there. Then there's another playground right here for you guys that have kids. There's a really cool trail that goes through here and pops out of the boat launch, sort of. This is a kind of a quickly little river that comes through here. It was basically dry when we were there. And there's a teeny little waterfall right here. But it was basically dry when I was there. So, I think I basically got that covered. You guys are on the same page, and we'll get to, and like I said, there's just supposedly, I was talking to people who had Jeeps there. They said you can trail ride by jumping on these logging roads and whatever. You can trail ride, they told me, to Lance from there. pretty decent distance. And from Lance, obviously, I'm pretty sure from Lance and Baraga, you can get, you know, up to the Keweenaw, top of the Keweenaw to Copper Harbor if you're that inclined. If you're on snowmobiles or you have a group of friends that are pretty tough to ride that far on four-wheelers or side-by-sides. But there's just so much to see. Michigan has just so much to offer, and that's kind of why I made the channel, was I was inspired when we went trail riding here. We stayed outside of Mass City right here. I'm sure I won't be able to find where it was. Mud Creek, that sounds familiar. Lutheran Church, that sounds familiar. It was somewhere around here. We stayed, we'd ride into Mass City, and then we'd ride into Greenland, and there were some trails that we hopped on to get into Ontonagon. And we also rode down here to Bergland, to Lake Geobec or Geogobic or whatever the crap it is. Beautiful lake. Supposedly they have really good, I think, sturgeon and walleye or something like that. They just got, supposedly they have fantastic fishing is what I understand. Something I'd like to do. Bergland is kind of a quiet little town. It's old. Seemed to be a nice place. Nothing was really open when we went riding there. We went, it was late summer, middle of the day. The only place we could get food was this Bergland Bay bar, I think. We got pizza. Nothing else was open in town. It was weird. HI's Walleye Lodge. I'm assuming that this is a guide place if you guys want to stay there. So anyway, I'm, 16. I'm kind of famous for long videos. So you guys, there's just so much to see. And you're really close to the Wisconsin border now. And Iron's really cool. There's some waterfalls out of here. I made some videos on that. Here's the Wisconsin border. There's just so much to see. So hopefully you guys can get out. We've had quite a lot of fun this year, and despite having some, just a lot going on, we got out once. We're gonna try and get out again. There's just so much to see, and you guys are gonna see in the video where we went. Just basically, they're logging trails. They're not hard. I don't think I even used 4-wheel drive once. Gave me pause crossing some of those old junk bridges a few times. Let me tell you. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and thank you. So this is our campsite. You can see my truck there with the tent. We had a good time. We didn't have anybody who was too much of a bother. Just some pictures of the surrounding area and the scenery. They had great trees, just huge old growth pines. They were really, really pretty, and they covered you up really well from the weather and such. This is a walking path that gets you toward the lake. And the beach, and eventually get you toward that pavilion. Now here's the pavilion. It's a pretty awesome building. And here's a view of toward the lake off into the fog and whatnot. And again, the walking path that goes down toward the beach. Now here's just that one part of the beach where you saw on the overhead map, just that little southeast corner of it. It's a huge lake. It's unbelievable how big it is. And it's unbelievable. The sunsets are just incredible because you're looking off to the west, looking on the lake here. Just unbelievably beautiful. There's the playscape. Then those are the bathrooms by the day area, by the beach and whatnot. Then there's a nice stair set that brings you up to the pavilion. You can see the fireplace right there. This is inside the pavilion now. It's all open. I didn't see any screens that could be put down, but they have picnic tables and whatnot in it. Then there's fireplace on the inside. Just a really cool place. Now there's the walkway going down toward the water. This is kind of the green area that we played fetch with Layla at. She really loved that. Then there's a set of swings. So your kids and dogs will be well entertained. Now, they do have a leash rule. A lot of people who had well-behaved dogs had their dogs off the leash, not around other people, but just to be able to play. Now, this is just walking around the campground to give you a bit of an idea. That's the trail that leads toward the pavilion and the the water. Now, we rented a pontoon boat from the Champion Bait Store. They were really easy to deal with. It seemed like a very fair operation. We didn't have any trouble. And these are just some views of on the lake. I've been meaning to get out in the water. Jersey's on M41 is a pretty amazing restaurant. They have everything from pizza to burgers, and it's a cool place. I imagine it's popping during hunting season and during snowmobiling season and fishing season and all that stuff, but it was pretty quiet when we were there. They had plenty of TVs and all that stuff. I always get the Cuban sandwich. It's out of this world, and their macaroni is amazing. They have like pulled pork macaroni and stuff, but that was one of our stops, and we did a lot of fire tending while we were up there. There's nothing like sitting around a bonfire and relaxing with your family. I hope you guys get out and do this summertime. Camping is a great way to spend time with your family, and great for dogs and every bit of your family. So hopefully you guys get out and get to enjoy the outdoors some this year. And make sure you bring the hot cocoa. There's nothing like a hot cocoa on a cool evening up in the Upper Peninsula.